All right, welcome, my friends, to the Revenue Ronin community space. We do these every Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. So great to have you aboard. Today's topic is going to be a good one, but first, welcome Andy, Cindy, Staradris. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I did start my Zoom recording. I don't record the video, I just record the audio. Um, and yeah, I get it up onto YouTube and then I create 14 pieces of content from the transcript from Zoom. So yeah, that's my, when I can, if I'm not, out and about, I have my laptop handy. I typically try to record the space just to get the transcript. And I suggest any meeting that you guys are doing, whether it's with your team members, whether it's, you want to just create some copy, some content, you want to do things via audio, talk through things, you know, pop open a Google Meet or a Zoom meeting and just record, the video and or transcript or both, and then really use that transcript to create content. And it's I've been doing it for about, October, November, December. Yeah, for about over 3 months now, and it's been really helping me. So, highly suggest you guys do it as well. And yeah, it's going to be a good conversation here. Please like and repost the space. Would really appreciate it. We're talking about, of course, sales and marketing mastery, your high ticket, your mid ticket, and low ticket offers. So, um, offer creation is a big deal, and having clarity around who it is you're serving and what your offer is, I can't stress it enough. So, we'll be breaking down some tips on how I come up with my offers and, some suggestions for you guys. And then, please come up on stage and share your, high, mid, low ticket offers. And why do I teach three offers? Because you need to meet people where they're at and based on their budgets. So some people have like CEOs that are, making a couple million, they want to get to 10 million. That's like my high ticket offer for those types of, CEOs that are running companies. My mid ticket offer, maybe, they're, doing 1 million, 2 million. They're trying to get to 3 or 4 million, not as much aggressive growth. So, I have a mid ticket offer for them. And then the low ticket offer is the Revenue Ronin community, right? It's enabling me to get, be accessible to members as we, build to the mission of 1,000 Ronins. And yeah, that's how I structure it. It works well. It can take some time to get some traction, but it's all about talking to the right people at the right time, with the right offer on the right medium, the right timing. All those things have to line up. And then when they do line up with the prospect, you're having a good conversation and ideally you're collecting a check. So, or payment. But yeah, let's check in with Andy here first before we kind of dive more into the conversation. And yeah, we'll plan on going depending on, how many people show up here. We'll go till 7:45, just to be respectful of everyone's time. I know we're gonna have some busy days today. So, and yeah, Andy, welcome. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Interesting. I saw a podcast from Alex Rosie, one of my favorite uh, people. So sorry if I'm a big Alex Rosie fanboy, but it's a lot easier for me to reference people who are doing it and have massive success. Anyway, what he was saying is the high ticket and the low ticket offers are where you focus. He's got the $100 million offer book, $100 million leads book, $100 million money model book. Yeah. What he was saying is super high ticket offers make a lot of money. Super low ticket offers make a lot of money. The ones in the middle are what everybody else does, and he says that's where you just barely get by. It's kind of an interesting thing when he said, he still believes in high, low, and mid ticket offers. He calls them a grand slam offer, an upsell, and a downsell offer, which is essentially the same thing. let me explain what he says in the book. He says if you're selling drinks at a movie theater, you have a small, a medium, and a large. And if you want to sell more of the mediums, what you do is you move them closer to the large, so it looks like you get. I mean, you move it closer to the small. Right? So the small is a dollar 50, and $2. There's no real difference there, but if you make it a dollar and 10 cents for a medium, everyone's going to go, well, 10 cents more, I'll just get the medium. If you move it to, well, you really want a medium and it's $1.75, but you go for 25 cents more for $2, you get a large, then you end up selling the large. So it's always interesting to have a high, mid, and low ticket. The reason you have three is because people want to choose, not be sold. And if you have two choices, they feel like you're putting them in a bind. They're probably both bad. If you give them four or more, they don't decide. And so three is the optimum number from just a human psychological perspective. Anyway, love the conversation. Thanks. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I always suggest to lead with your high ticket offer. Always lead with your high ticket so people have a good understanding of the level of expertise that you have. And, we all have some sort of expertise. And so I always lead with high ticket. So, but you got to understand, like, the context of the relationship and the platform. I think it's really important. So on LinkedIn, for example, I'm going to be talking more about like my high ticket offers, much more on there than X. I'll talk about it here, but from current operations, I've been getting more leads and more qualified high ticket prospects from LinkedIn. So I'm just going to be kind of leaning in more there. So yeah, I mean, it's really important to understand the context of each platform and then always lead with your high ticket. Always lead with your high ticket. So, and yeah, the pricing and look, start with one offer first, right? Before you come up with three offers, you probably want to come up with one offer that converts first. So have it in your mind in your toolkit. Yes, I have three offers that I can pull out at any time to meet people where they're at. At the same time, you need to bring in revenue. Okay, so make sure you have one offer that's been validated before you kind of come up with three formal offers is my suggestion. So, um, and for my particular case, because I have the agency and I have the community, um, there's different offers for different verticals. So, but yeah, everyone's, in a different business model. So just get very clear on, what is your business model? Is it a membership community? Is it an agency? What is your business model? And get clarity around that and then validate it, right? And start with, and Andy talks about it a lot, and we all talk about it. It's, one person, one ICP, one product or service, one offer, and validate that organically. And then once you have that, it's been validated, then you can start to expand, grow that, um, and then even maybe test some paid ads. So, but before you do paid ads, you got to validate it organically first. There's no sense in spending money on ads if you haven't validated it. So, well, yeah, welcome to the stage, Will, and I see we have Yvonne out there. Lovely to see you, Yvonne. Hope you're doing well. We got Hoops out there. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're well. Cindy is out there as well. Good to see you. Always great having you here. VR is out there. Good to see you, VR. Jane, Dan Ryan. He was our first ever Ronin and my first ever Be Real X Talks guest. So good to see you, Dan. I checked in with Eric yesterday. He was looking at some potential new Tesla models. So kind of exciting for the new year. We may be having a new a newer X vehicle to to do the show in this year, hopefully. So and then yeah, good to see you, Anna. AVR, always a pleasure to have you in the space. Antonio, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, and really loving your wife's newsletter. So thank you for that tip. Spoon, thanks for being here, man. Great to see you. Always great to see you. Would love to hear from you. Spoon's been a longtime friend on this platform, fellow builder, and a fellow Ronin. So thank you, Spoon, for being here. And he's invited me to some great spaces as well. And Stardust is down there. Yvonne, thank you guys for being here. Dan, thank you so much. Please like and repost the space. We're gonna go till about 7:45, depending on, how the conversation goes. I got to hard stop at 8. But yeah, I would love to hear from and check in with Will. But before I do, I want to just mention something kind of a hot take here. And I've still got a sore throat and congestion, but I'm working through things. So I'm not going to let it hold me down here. Entering like the third month of being sick on and off, which is not fun. But I do want to share something with Will and, the rest of you guys. So to win these days, like you got to go above and beyond. Okay, to win with clients, to win in anything, like you got to go above and beyond. If you're just out there doing the bare essentials, now the fundamentals are critical and you have to nail the fundamentals. That's a given. That's you know, that's a given. But you have to go above and beyond with clients, with prospects, like you got to go above and beyond if you want to win. So and that's I've always been that way. And so just to share with you, I just want to share it for some perspective, like because I do the daily accountability check-in with Will's community, the unshakable entrepreneurs and Ronins, but I just want to share with you like what does a day in the life of Justin look like? Okay, I've been asked this question. And so I want to share with you. So I host my sales and marketing mastery daily space. I was able to hop into Will and Avni space and contribute a little bit. I completed my on-site client consulting work in San Diego. I formed a potential strategic referral partnership for my agency client. And that goes to show for you guys too, if you really want to accelerate the volume play and get in front of more people, is you want to find strategic partners. This is absolutely critical. This is how I scaled my IT business significantly by having two partnerships with Cox Communications and Staples. So by having those relationships, they would refer me a lot of business, the technicians and some of the workers. So create strategic partnerships. It's a cheat code. And because then they can put you in front of other uh a volume of people, right? Maybe they feature you on on their newsletter. Maybe it's a good referral source for you, right? These are the things that are really critical and will help scale and amplify your growth. And then I also identified a resource for a new side venture, which is going to be high ticket locally in San Diego. I'm not going to go into it, but it's something on my radar that I'm excited about. Um, I completed my other clients, because I have multiple clients. So I completed my client check-ins and my team tech check-in, right? So I have a small team I'm managing now. Pushed out my daily content, launched a new offer landing page for the Revenue Ronin operating system, which I'll start a wait list for that and an interest list to pre-qualify those potential prospects for it's a mid-ticket offer. Also, I'm streamlining my AI projects in Claude for, these branded digital audits that I'm running and that are working. And I'll probably start charging for these digital audits because why? Because there's, really high demand and I can't get through them quick enough. So we're going to start charging. And then I still, still am a bit, sick with the sore throat and congestion, but I'm not letting that stop me. So that's a day in the life of me. That was my day yesterday. That's a typical day for me. And so yeah, like you got to go above and beyond if you want to win. And this is why, and nothing against people that work in jobs, but I don't know if you've been seeing the numbers, but there's a significant amount of layoffs happening, significant amount. And you can do really great at your job and you can still get laid off. You could be really good and you can still get laid off. This is why, building your own thing is really critical, is really critical. That's why the Ronin movement was created. It's for those people who may or may not work in corporate already, but they want to build something that's theirs, right? It's their baby. It's their purpose, passion, and profit business. It's a legacy business if they want. So yeah, just wanted to kind of share with you guys that yeah, you got to go above and beyond these days for to make clients happy, to uh, acquire customers, to retain customers. That's the name of the game. Those two things, acquiring customers and retaining customers. So, yeah, let's check in with Will. I'll get off my soapbox for a minute and get some water here, but I see we have Sharon coming up as well. Would love to hear from Sharon. So yeah, Will, welcome.
Hey, Justin. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday, Ronins. Uh, Hope everyone's having a great day. Justin, I wanted to come up and say to you, man, you've started something with this whole music thing, man. You've started something in this music thing. I've been cranking out songs. It's been really fun. It's a good creative outlet. And you mentioned Suno, right? That's what you were using. So I've signed up for that as well. And I found something really cool, right? It's like you can actually upload your own lyrics. Like I could sing and then I could just have the music in the background, which is something I've always wanted to do, but I've never been that good at instruments. So that's going to be something else on the radar. So this is a great topic. As I've been building out the new systems that I've been building, and I love how you mentioned partnerships, and I'll talk about what I'm doing there as well. But high ticket, low ticket, and immediate ticket. I'm probably not at the high ticket that you're at already. Like my top end deal offer is 2,500 right now. I do aspire, and I talked about this before, to work in teams, going back sort of into corporate as a freelancer at some point or as a service provider, and working with teams to help them with the internal game, especially as more and more people get so stressed out. And but like it's really interesting how I've been trying to do this. I've got to credit Andy as well because I've been going to Andy's spaces every time I can in the evenings, and like Andy drops so much gold, and it always makes me reflect on how am I doing this and how can I do it better. And like one thing you said yesterday, Andy, which I love, is like if you're building it, it's your fault if you don't like it. And I was really thinking about that. I was thinking about the offers that I have out there. And I was like, I'm genuinely grateful to love what I do, but there are definitely ways I could be doing this better. And that's great because it's on me. So right now I've got a low ticket, which some members of you guys know about, which is the $47 a month membership, which is where we do the daily declarations and the daily meditations. Got the $250 a month, which is the accountability system, which is something I'm pretty proud of because it is a direct mirror that shows people what they did that week so they can't self-deceive themselves. And then 2,500 on the high end. So that's my current offer stack, Justin. I'm open to any feedback if you have ways I could be leveraging myself better. But for the partnerships, obviously you and I have done a partnership, and I've also got a partnership with Jason Barrett where he's telling people what to do and how to do it. And then I am solving the will they do it part, right? The accountability part on the back end and the mindset stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm currently at with that.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that's a good price point for this platform, based on people's budgets that I've seen. But I think you need to start dipping your toe into more LinkedIn and even maybe some offline corporate stuff locally where you're located. Um, just because I know that there's a need for it. And I think that you already have enough social proof built up. So I'm thinking of just, and look, it's so easy now to just, I throw up landing pages all the time and just test it out on Card or, Lovable, whatever, right? So you get in the habit of when you start talking to people and you're already getting some traction, spin up a landing page right away and get it out there, right? Don't wait. Because the second you get interest and people start submitting interest, like, yes, here's my information, I'm interested. Okay, you're onto something. People underestimate how hard it is to acquire a customer. Okay, people underestimate this. It is very difficult to acquire a customer. Don't think it's easy. You can make it very easy for somebody to go through the journey, but it is challenging to acquire customers. So the quicker you can adapt, create a landing page, spin it up, send an email, send a text message. Don't think that, and look, the attitude you have to have is whatever it takes. Period. Hard stop. Ethically, of course. So you get that thing out there, you're texting it. You're calling people, "Hey, Jim, listen, I'm going to be in the neck of your woods on Tuesday at 5 p.m. I'd love to drop by, introduce myself. I have a great program that will definitely increase the productivity of your team. I help, people work on the inner game, blah, blah, blah. And boom, you get in front of them. They're not expecting that, right? Somebody's going to drop by my office. Whoa, that's outside the box. You got to be outside the box, right? You got to be outside the box. You got to be different. And you will get some validation. You will get some interest. And then you just build on that momentum. Everything is momentum. Building on interest, building on behaviors people are taking, which is action oriented. So and here's a prime example. My client, I'm helping them scale their agency because I have an agency. So we've partnered up, we're scaling, and we're offering these complimentary digital audits. It's an AI digital audit, and it's working really well because it's low friction and it's working really well. We're getting like, we've had like 20 people say, yes, we want a digital audit. So we're building that momentum. We present the findings, which doesn't take very long. And then we, pitch them a proposal. Hey, this is the price to get going to fix all these gaps and, challenges you guys are having. And then they decide, yeah, that sounds good, or no, not a good time for us. So that's it. So this is how you validate based on interest and behavior. And yeah, start testing something out locally. So any follow-ups, Will, before we go over to check in with Sharon?
Nothing more than thank you. Again, I always love the external perspective, right? Because there's nothing more valuable. And this is again why coaching is a thing. There's nothing more valuable than getting somebody else's perspective on your stuff. So now you can see it from a slightly different angle. And like the corporate, I know we talked about this before. That is where I would like to be. And I feel like I'm getting close to that perspective, to that point where I do have, the social proof. I do have the track record, and I understand like very clearly that it's about me more than anything else. Like we talked about confidence yesterday in the space, and how it is the ability to predict the outcome. Like that's what it is. So that's what I'm building within myself. And as I'm helping more and more people and getting more and more testimonials and stuff like that, it really is building on itself, and that momentum is compounding. So yeah, I'm just keeping the target in front of me. How can I help more people? How can I do it at scale? Because ultimately, like we talked about many times, what to do and how to do it almost solve problems these days. At least getting close to it with the information economy pretty much being saturated at this point. Not hard to figure out what to do and how to do it. But will you do it? Man, that is a question that 99% of people can't answer, at least not with conviction and clarity like we talk about. So yeah, I know exactly where I belong, and that is the problem I'm here to solve. And I'm just going to do it at bigger and bigger scales.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat as you, Will, right? Like I need to be playing at a higher level. Okay, I've worked for billion-dollar companies. There's no excuses, right? So that's my mindset right now. So I'm creating offers for much higher ticket because I have the track record, I have the expertise, I have the confidence, I have the competence and the clarity. And we should all make sure that we have that confidence, competence, and clarity. And, the more conversations you can have with the right people, the better, better off you'll be. And look, not everyone's going to say yes, and that's okay. Like you have to just put in the reps, and just, you know, no just means not right now, and then you just say next and you go on to the next one. So I'm really focusing locally on, some companies that I see have a need. Obviously, I'm over delivering in value of, some things that I've identified, some areas for improvement, and it's on them if they want to, further continue the conversation. So, but I'm definitely going to be getting into more high ticket and then really get clarity for you, Will, is like get very clear on what that corporate engagement would look like, right? Get very clear. Okay, well, it's going to be this price based on my time and my limited time. Our time is finite here. So we have to be very strategic with our time. So when you have that price in mind, then, what does that environment look like? Is it an on-site? Is it remote? How many people are involved? Is it a group? Is it individual, right? You gotta work all this out first in your mind, right? You got to manifest it. You got to build it out, visualize it. And then having that clarity and confidence when you go to the corporate and you pitch them and you present to them. And here's a pro tip for everyone, because I've done this and it works really well. So when you have even with investors, this works really well with investors and also prospects. So you can use it with either person. But what you do is you say, hey, I'm Will, from, the UK, wherever you're located. I forget where it's called, but uh, I would love to get some feedback on something I'm working on, I think would be very beneficial to your company. So you use the word feedback, okay? And then, you're not going to have a whole hour, most likely. You'll be able to get 10 minutes if you're lucky, if they say yes. And then you go into your offer. You go into who you are, what you've done, what you're building, the movement you've created, get them to buy in emotionally, hook them, and then present your offer. That's the way you do it. And you do the same thing with investors. Hey, I'm working on something. I would love to, run something by you and get some feedback if you have about 10 minutes. Is that something you can carve out on your schedule? Great. How does, Wednesday at 1 p.m. look? Great. I'll send you the invite right now. What's your email? Boom. Do it right there on the spot. Don't wait. Don't wait. Do it on the spot. Okay, you have to move quickly. You have to move quick, and you can't give opportunities for people to make excuses or wiggle out. And if they cancel, they cancel. It's fine. But you got to control the conversation. You got to control the energy, and you just have to take action and make it super easy for people. Great. I got your phone number, got your email, boom, boom, boom. And then even as a pro tip, I'll send them a video testimonial before the meeting. Okay. I'll send them a video testimonial before the meeting. Why? Because I want them to have fresh in their mind, oh wow, okay, this was a client transformation that Justin had got. Okay, great. Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive. And then they're on the call, and guess what? They're in a better mood, right? They're already pre-sold. They're warmed up. So yeah, these are definitely some pro tips for everyone. These are things that I do. They work. That's why I'm sharing them with you. And yeah, uh, Will, back over to you real quick, and then we'll get Yvonne up here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to keep playing this game at a bigger level. I think where I'm at right now, just the community we built is growing really, really well. I've clearly defined the market. I've clearly defined the problem I'm solving. So again, this was a challenge coming into this world of entrepreneurship from corporate. But thanks to Andy and Jim, I've got some really, really helpful feedback. And now, again, my bio should be really clear. This is what I do. This is who I help. And yeah, I think now for me, coming to this market with a problem that I've validated, that people have told me they have this problem. I know what to do, but I can't do it consistently. And I have a solution for that. It feels like now the case, now it's just getting in front of more people. And I think you're absolutely right about LinkedIn, because what I've noticed, like X is brilliant. And like I use X pretty much exclusively for networking these days. A lot of my clients come from spaces, but also mostly from school. But I think that as LinkedIn goes now more into, because like as forced entrepreneurship happens more and more and more, that is an area that I can step up into, because I think that that problem is not going to go away. In fact, with AI, it's probably going to become even more, because now, as Andy was talking about the other day, like anyone can have access to the information, and yet very few people actually act on it. And why is that, right? They genuinely want the result, but they're scared. They're internally conflicted. They want safety on one hand, but they want success on the other hand. And we're working with biology that will always prioritize safety. And it's really hard. And I heard this like a year ago. You can't see the label from inside the jar. So just like you help me see things that I can't see, there's always a market for that. So yeah, really clear on what we're doing. So just excited.
Yeah, that's a Jason Barrett quote. You can't see inside, you can't read the label inside the jar. Yeah, that's a Jason Barrett quote. That's a good one. And yeah, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting times. And here's one thing I'll point out on the LinkedIn side of people that are, out of work, and I have them in my personal network, buddies that got their MBA, at same school I did. I didn't get my MBA. I was like, I don't need it. I don't need an MBA. I've been running a company for 10 years. Why do I need an MBA? I don't see any value in that. I mean, I got my bachelor's degree. I'm good to go. So I wasn't going to waste another like 20, 30K. Well, not waste, but I wasn't going to invest another 20 to 30K since I've already been operating a company, made $1 million. So I didn't think I needed it. And I'm glad I didn't go that route because yeah, I just didn't need it. So, but one point I want to make is you want to catch people, and I'm starting to see this more even with some Ronins signing up, is they already have full-time jobs in corporate, they're doing well, but they still want to build their own thing, right? So this is a good sweet spot because once someone doesn't have a job, they're going to be short on money. It's just a natural thing, right? So you want to try to catch people to help them prepare or get into a mindset of, hey, you know, you can help them whether they have a job or not on the inner game, right? Help them on their inner game, and ideally they keep their job, but then they start building that internal game up more with your practices that you teach, because then they're more inclined to invest because they're in a position to financially to do so. So yeah, yeah, just want to put that out there because yeah, you want to catch people before they're in a position to not have the ability to invest or they're because look, you're in a different mindset. I mean, I've been there, right? You get laid off, you miss immediately go into survival mode, right? Okay, what am I cutting? Right? What I got to cut everything. Okay, I've been there multiple times, 10, 20 times at least. So you got to cut everything, sort out insurance, all this stuff. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. But is it a blessing in disguise? Right? It's a reframe. It's a reframe.
Point in time, it's going to happen. It's not. It's not a nightmare. It's not a choice. It is going to happen. So just look at the history of employment and how we make personal finances. Way back when, everybody was farmers. Then we all started creating skills. We started to make little co-ops. Then we started to create companies. Then we started to do manufacturing. We started to do employment. Okay, fine, right? The point is, limit your expenses to start with. Manage your things every week, every month. Then when you know revenue change happens, which is going to it's like 100% guaranteed. Like from today until you die, unless you die tomorrow. Sorry, I hope no one does that. The way you make money is going to change with AI. I used to call it the tidal wave of AI. You better learn how to surf it, or it's going to crush you. I heard Elon say it's something tsunami, some spectacular tsunami or something, and his whole point was it's already here. You're already late, and but he's talking about robots and other stuff. But the point is, I just saw a note about Raspberry Pi that you can buy a little piece to put on top of it. Have a small little tiny box, has your own personal AI. Plug it into your whatever, your computer, your phone, whatever. But the point here's the point. Revenue, your personal way of making money, whatever you're doing right now, will change. So just accept change is coming. And then look at your expenses when you look in the future and say, well, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to pay it off. Yeah, the world is so changing in the future. Some are going to go awesome. Some people are going to go, I just did this one thing and look, I have blah, blah, blah. And other people are going to go, I just did this one thing and I lost everything. We don't know which one the one thing is. But the point is, it's going to change. It's not an if, it's when. So just get in the mindset. It's going to change. How do you operate in an environment that's always changing? Because that's what's coming. That's what's here. Whether it's affected you or not, that's a different thing, but it's here.
Yeah, well said. All right, well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Andy. It's a big reality check for a lot of people, and yeah, like making money we don't make money, we earn money, right? So, there's a big wake up call for a lot of people, the mindset shift. The only people that make money are the US Mint, So people earn money based on the value they provide in the marketplace. And if you're not getting in front of the right people, demonstrating your value, um, you know, and the simplest way is just more conversations with the right people at the right time, on the right medium, with the right offer. They have the budget, and yeah, usually it's we're not talking to the right people. That's usually the case. If we're talking to the right people, the sale is so seamless. It's such an easy, frictionless experience, and even high ticket. It's such a seamless experience. So, just build, you're in the right community. If you want to build something that's yours and you want to bring in revenue, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. So, my aspiration is for everyone by the end of the year to have their newsletter going. They're bringing in revenue, they're serving clients, maybe they have some digital products, but we're all thriving, we're all learning and growing, and we're continuing the journey together. That's the utopic view. So let's go back to Will, then I want to go to Yvonne, and then we'll go to Iwanro. Okay, Will.
I'll keep it super brief. I feel like this is like a personal coaching session for me, which I appreciate. But yeah, Andy said something there. It's like, how do you survive that? And like my answer is you build an unshakable self-concept that cannot be moved by the circumstances, because then you are resourceful. And I'm seeing so many people falling down into this is what I've always known how to do. And like, so anyway, back to the question, Justin, the mid-ticket offer that I have, right, the $250 a month, you mentioned like working with the newer entrepreneurs or people who are coming from employment, becoming entrepreneurs. Where I was looking at with this, because I was looking at the market and I was asking people, like, what are your biggest struggles at this point? And this really solves two things, right? Inconsistency and self-deception. So inconsistency is I know what to do and I'm not doing it. And self-deception is I'm busy, but I'm not productive. And those are the two things I wanted to solve with the mid-ticket. But where this becomes expensive in, again, the research that I've done, the people I've talked to, and I'd love to hear other people's feedback, that'd be really helpful, is kind of like where people are earning between 5K and 20K a month. Because at that point, the mindset of the operator is the primary constraint. Because like before 5K, it's usually product market fit, right? And then above 20K, it's usually their team and things like that. So this Goldilocks zone that I'm looking to help people in is between 5K and 20K a month, when inconsistency is directly expensive, when you can directly translate it to missed revenue. So just to get your opinion on that, because that's a very different market than people who are in employment and want to build their own thing. So I was just wanted to get your take on that. Do you still think that's a good market for this $250 a month? Again, accountability / weekly review to hold up a mirror and say, here's exactly what you did this week.
Yeah, so it's kind of two different things in my mind. The entrepreneur who's trying to scale and building their team, right? They're at a different place than someone who's in a job, right? Depending on their job, they could be a manager, they could be managing people, but I think having the tough conversations with not only themselves but also their team about accountability, and because this happens in any team environment that I've experienced, is you move at a certain pace, and typically people are not going to keep up with you. If you're a high performer, it's all about pace. And most of the time people can't keep up with you if you're a high performer. So you have to be more patient and you have to either have them get extra help for those people, or, training, fill in the blank, right? But I don't know how you coach through that. Um, for a manager or for someone that's building to scale. I mean, I have my own style. It's kind of a very no BS type of style. Like, um, yeah. So yeah, I would just test it out with two different ICPs, and see which one resonates the most, and really ask them like, hey, what do you really need specific help on? Is it your team building, or because, are you in the team building business? Are you in the personal transformation business? Right? You got to get
So
clear.
Yeah, for me, I'm 100% clear that it's the solopreneurs that I want to work with who are, they've already done something, they've already got product market fit, they're already generating revenue, but they're inconsistent. Because to my mind, and again, the experience I've had, that's the biggest bottleneck in terms of like, will they do the thing consistently? And that zone of people that I want to work with, right? Solopreneurs slash people with a very small team, but like yourself who are outsourcing, who have that internal instability, because like execution instability is the most expensive problem between that range. So that's what I want to focus on for the mid ticket. Right. For the high ticket, it's identity shifting. For the mid ticket, it's unshakable accountability in the fact that it's not just did you do it, it's like every single day you have a check mark on your record, and if you don't provide proof, you didn't do it. And you've seen a little bit of this already. I've sold this at the $200 mark in conjunction with somebody else, but again, I just wanted to get feedback on that as a product from your perspective.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll add is just make sure that if you're solving the accountability part for them, then they have to translate that to their team. Otherwise, they're not building a healthy culture. So yeah, let's thank you, Will. Great stuff. Yeah, we went a little deep here, which is good. Like I like to go deep on, on some of these topics because they're really important. They're critical inflection points that you need to nail. And if you don't nail it, then and look, I I I hire slow and I fire fast. Okay. So, if someone's not pulled in their weight, I'll give them three chances, and usually it's over the course of a few days because I have a very high, quick pace that I work at. And usually, very few people can hang with that. And my VA is fortunate because she's been with me for almost a year, coming up on a year. And yeah. So yeah, let's go over to Yvonne. Yvonne, thank you for your patience. Welcome. You've been on fire lately. Welcome. How's it going?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, one day at a time, you guys, right? It's progress is progress. That's what I'm keep telling myself because I am one of those achievers, hard freaking core, but with my health issues that I've had, I have to kind of, it's super irritating when you're an overachiever and you're dealing with health stuff. So I still feel your pain with being sick because I've been having a lot of that too, and it's super irritating. But oh my goodness, I've been loving the conversation today so much. You guys sparked so many things. I just wanted to, and I actually have a question too for the panel here. But first off the bat, I just will like and repost the space, you guys. I got to remember to do that. um, when it comes to the future of soulpreneurs, because that's part of what I do with my business is help actors learn how to be their own entrepreneurs, right? So they don't have to rely on a 9 to 5 type of job. So, and I do some coaching with that, but I'll just tell you right off the bat, Will, when it comes time for referrals, like, and even you, and in regards to sales, Justin, right? Like, can't do everything yourself. So when it comes time to that, and that's what I love about this community, I'll be referring people to you guys. You know what I mean? If I can't handle that part of it because I have so much on my plate, then I can be like, I know somebody who's really great at that and kind of do that as a collaboration. But I also wanted to mention, you said, start the landing page, and man, that's so freaking true, you guys. Like, you got to start right now. Start with what it is, and because when I started my company a couple years ago, and I don't think that I was fully ready. Like, I had the idea and stuff, and I went ahead and started it. I did my Facebook page and everything. I did not know nearly enough about social media and stuff like that, like I've learned over the last couple of years, especially with X, and how to run ads and do all that kind of stuff, but just even how to run a community, like so many, it's just amazing the things that you learn. And then you're like, okay, now it's kind of do or die, right? But I'm curious. So when I had done some of that and started some of that, I had people, and so this is a good thing. So I'm so glad some of the stuff that you guys touched on, because I had people that I didn't even know that were already reaching out to me about my business. And I know that part of that is because my business is very niche. And I mean, I am my client, right? Like, I'm literally providing service and products to people who were me when I was younger and just starting starting out in the business, so I know there's a high demand for it. But full disclosure, when that happened, I mean, I didn't have a lot of stuff ready. And I also think that I wasn't ready psychologically at the time. This is why I say start now, you guys, because I wasn't psychologically ready at the time. But then I ended up having health issues that were unexpected, and then you kind of like kick yourself like, oh my gosh, I wish I had started sooner, because now that I'm wanting to like really go freaking full all out, I have to battle this other thing with the physical body, which is a pain in the butt and super irritating, but we push on. But I'm curious, like when that happened, and I know this is a psychological thing, but Will kind of tapped into this, because in Hollywood, things can blow up really fast. I mean, in anything, things could blow up fast, right? Like Justin, with some of these spaces that you're doing, or even Will, like for all you know, Grant Cardone could be listening to something that you're doing, or he hears about it and he needs somebody to do, even though I know he's a master in sales, but say Will, like maybe he wants somebody to help the people that he onboards with the stuff that he does, to do the psychological mindset side, right? Like how Tony Robbins has my spiritual meditation teacher, and he does all the meditation type stuff for him, right? Like he brings him on board for that. You just never know what the opportunities are on this platform. But what I'm curious about is, do you guys ever have where you get, if things, because again, it can happen really fast sometimes, and I've experienced that a lot of times. And I know that when that happens, a lot of times you can self-sabotage, because then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, now everybody's coming out of the woodwork, and I have all of these people that want to buy this product. Now, maybe there's an interview or something like that, because like, you know what it's like, you guys, when you like really set your mind to it and you have that vision, and especially when you start fully stepping into the identity, things manifest fast. Opportunities present themselves. And I have to be honest, like sometimes I get a little nervous about that, right? Like I get a little nervous, like, oh my God. And definitely with my health stuff being in the way, I'm like, am I going to be able to handle all of that? And I know that's when self-sabotage comes in, but like, how do you guys navigate that a little bit when it's all of a sudden now, some big person wants to sign you for this thing, or maybe they want to showcase you on their platform or something, and then you're going to be getting thousands of people that are going to come into your stuff to buy your product. And sometimes I get a little overwhelmed psychologically with that kind of stuff. Like, how do you guys battle that when you know that literally that opportunity could be right there and the floodgates open? It's like, I'll land saying, it's like when people are on Shark Tank or something, and maybe they're starting out, and then after they go on Shark Tank, then all of a sudden they have like hundreds of thousands of people coming to their website, and it's overwhelming, right? Like, how do you guys manage that? I feel like that's such an important thing. I definitely have that sometimes, so I would love to hear any feedback on that.
Yeah, great question. So, and then we'll go to Will because I know he wants to jump in. So, I think part of the challenge is a bit of imposter syndrome. Is, hey, look, we're building, and we're fear of this, big success, but we need to just block that. And what we need to focus on is creating a wait list. So that does two things. Number one, it puts you in control, right? It puts you in control on who you want to take on, and the volume play, right? And I know Christelle does that a lot, is like, she has an interest list. It's like, okay, I got 50 people, we're maxed out here, right? So craft that offer, put it out there, and then, hey, do popular demand and share that as part of your story. As part of your story of building in public and being authentic and genuine, you say, hey, you know what, based on popular demand, we've had over 100 people sign up for, my product. I'm speaking for Yvonne here. And, I can't, I'm super excited. I want to make sure we serve everyone. But we're incorporating a wait list right now. And that does two things. Number one, you're authentic, you're genuine, you're in control. And it gives the perception of, wow, this is definitely something that's, fear of missing out comes into play as well. So that's the first thing that comes up. The second metaphor I want to use is the bamboo analogy. So look, bamboo trees, the story, like it takes them like 5 to 7 years before they sprout. And then once they sprout, they grow 100 feet in the first, year. So the same with us, right? Like we're putting in the work, we're putting in that effort, and yeah, we may get hit by a health issue or whatever, but we don't stop the momentum. And yeah, so always incorporate a wait list and or some sort of and incorporate that into there because that's absolutely critical. And then I tagged you on a really important post, Yvonne, because this is right up your alley. This guy, Chris Corner, who I follow, he's on Beehive too as well. And he does a YouTube channel, a lot of great business ideas. But he said the idea of taking musicians and artists and all this stuff and pitching them on the fact that, hey, look, you're on tour, you're doing all these shows, stuff like that, you're acting. Well, I can do your newsletter for you and we can do a revenue share. And all you have to do is once a month, like record a Zoom video and and or a podcast, and then you use that for content for your newsletter for the whole month. And then also you do a rev share on any type of like sales because they're really great performers, artists, stuff like that, but they don't have a newsletter or they don't have consistency, right? So yeah, I tagged you in the post. Make sure you watch that video. I think it'll resonate with you. And yeah, like same thing with me, right? Like I can only handle like two more clients right now. Like I'm not maxed out. So then I'm going to have a waiting list starting for Q2. So it's a good problem to have, but I need to make sure that I maintain quality, right? You don't want to spread yourself too thin because then you won't get the results for the client. So unless you have a larger team, but then that introduces many more challenges of managing the team. So now I'm managing my clients, I'm managing my team, managing a lot. So, but yeah, definitely the pro tip for you, Yvonne, is have that wait list, have that landing page ready to go, collect that information. And then the last pro tip I'll share is revenue always talks. Okay, revenue speaks volumes. So when you have a situation where, let's say you have 100 people that are interested and you're still maybe figuring out your pricing, you ask them, what's your budget? What's your budget here? Because there's going to be a lot of tire kickers, okay? These tire kickers are people that they pretend they're interested, but not really. I call those tire kickers. So what you can do is you can filter down from those 100 on who's really serious. And then who's really serious, they're going to prepay you. This is where Jim, he's brilliant on what he does, and I do the same thing. Like, I don't work, I'm prepaid for my work. I get prepaid retainers, thousands of dollars, prepaid before I even send one email for them. Because why? Because I've painted the picture to them. This is how we operate. I need to operationalize the business. Christelle loves this one because this is how she helped close a big deal is, we need funds to operationalize the services. We have a team, all this stuff. So use that keyword terminology. Yes, we need money up front to operationalize the business, the functions, the services, right? I got to pay my team. So it's all about positioning. So make sure you prioritize those revenue based on who has the higher budget, and that will get, very clear, right? The ones that are serious, they're not tire kickers. Of those 100, most likely you're going to land on maybe 5 to 10 if you're lucky. Most likely maybe 3 that have budget, they prepay you, and then you prioritize those. So always prioritize revenue. That's the pro tip here, right? The serious ones, they will pay you. Don't get played, get paid. So yeah, any follow-ups, Yvonne, before we go to Will?
Oh my goodness, no, that's freaking awesome. My mind is spinning. I don't want to hug. Let's go to some other people, and then if I think of something else, I'll pop back in. But that was amazing. Thank you.
All right, go for it, Will, and then we'll go to thank you, Yvonne. Great question, by the way. I went deep on that one. So yeah, go for it, Will, and then we'll go to Iwanro.
Perfect. Yvonne, I love that you brought this up because this is kind of the one thing that I really have dug deep on. What I would encourage everyone in the space to do is a really healthy reframe, right? Is transform self-sabotage into self-correction, because that's what it is. Your brain is never trying to sabotage you. It is prioritizing safety over success because that's what it's designed to do. And self-correction is really just moving you back to where you believe you belong. And the situation that you mentioned there, Yvonne, is it's painful for people to go through, right? I got the thing I wanted and I went right back to where I used to be. And all that's happening is it's correcting back, your brain is correcting back to where it believes it belongs. So the way to get around this is to train yourself to be the kind of person that is, I call unshakable, right? Happy in the discomfort. And the way you do this is you understand that fear is a bodily response to a perceived threat. That's it. It has no authority over you. And then you can say, I feel fear, but I am not afraid. Because the moment you say, I am afraid, you've identified with it. You're in that state. And that borders, that bounds what is possible. But when you just create... Oh, go ahead, Andy.
Sorry, I was going to say, think of it this way. I'm 6'3". I'm a 3rd degree black belt. My wife is 5'1", 2, whatever she is, right? She's smaller. In the same situation, she'll feel fear. I won't even blink. I won't even recognize there's a threat. She's afraid. I'm like, I'm not afraid. I'm not even breathing hard. And the only difference is I know for sure that situation doesn't threaten me. Mm-hmm. She knows it threatens her. What's the difference? Same situation.
So the difference,
she's a third degree black belt too. Or 2nd degree. She's a 2nd degree black belt. She can handle herself. But she's afraid. But it's in your mind. That's my whole point.
Yeah. And here's what it is, just for everyone, because like the more you understand this, the less it will control you. When you are certain about something, I'll just give a very quick example and then I'll pass through one row. If I asked you, I said this on the space yesterday, if I asked you to write me 100 words and I pay you £100, right? It's like, you could write any 100 words. It doesn't matter. There's no bar to quality. You would have no fear over completing that task. No fear whatsoever, because you know you could do it, right? There is certainty in the predictability of the outcome, otherwise known as confidence. There's no fear there. There's no threat. But if I said to you, I will pay you £100 if you write me the most beautiful 100 words ever written, right? And that's the only way I'll pay you. Suddenly there's like, oh my God, can I do that? Is that enough? Like, am I good enough? Am I skilled enough? And that questioning is what creates the prediction of a problem, which is where the fear comes from, because the fear is a bodily response to that perceived threat. It's not real in terms of a thing that can control you. You are the operant power. You are the awareness. The fear is a response in your body. And the more you can train yourself to understand that and to create that separation in the moment, the less the fear will control your behavior. Because remember, you're working with hardware that wants nothing more than safety. And I'll say that over and over again, because that is the solution to 99% of your problems. So that's what I'll add. So Justin, back to you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is great. Let's appreciate that, Will and Andy. Let's go to Iwanro, and yeah, we're gonna wrap up at 8, guys. So we'll go a little extra here, so we got a little time. So let's go to Iwanro. Iwanro, just keep it to like 2 minutes if you can. Really appreciate it. Welcome.
Justin, Andy, Will, Yvonne, and everyone. It's really great. As a matter of fact, my first question is actually kind of like answered, based off of, what I saw here, because initially I find myself, in spaces where people recommend I should do spaces and stuff like that. And then I begin to have this issue of, how do I put up my offers? I always flow between freelancers and founders and that kind of thing, So seeing this now just made me see that, I could actually make the freelancing my low ticket offer, and then something in between, and then, go upstream and all that, so which was really good, So thanks so much for this. The other question that I have, is a pattern that I've observed, in this kind of I don't know what I'll call it, social funnels, but then I see you kind of like have an account, and then you have a space, and then it evolves into a community, and then maybe into like a group, and then before it moves to newsletter, because I've been thinking about building newsletters and stuff like that, but I don't really know how do one reconcile it? Is it like we go put it on a scientific base, and stuff like that? I had Beehive. I had in mind something like for Substack. So how do we reconcile all these things? I don't want to take so much time. I'm really enjoying the space. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Thanks for checking in here, One. Good to see you. I've seen you on the X feeds here, so gave you a follow back. So, yeah, real quickly, I'll just say the two biggest mistakes I made in 15 years of working in corporate and building my agency was I put my personal brand building on hold and I stopped building my personal email list. So those were the two biggest mistakes I made. And yeah, so I highly encourage every single person because we all have personal brands. So continue building your personal brand online, which Spaces is definitely a cheat code. It's a way to establish authority and expertise and scale trust quickly. And then the other thing is you want to get people onto your newsletter because that's what you control. That's an asset that you can build over time. And, Beehive is the top platform that we use, that I use, many others down below. Yvonne uses Beehive, Andy, Christelle, many others down below, Dan Ryan, Will, Antonio. So yeah, many people use Beehive just because of the nature of how it's built to, have you uh, earn ad revenue, as well as the recommendations feature and many other things. And Timo is like an expert at Beehive. He's my Beehive go-to master. So, but yeah, and the thing is time, right? So, I didn't bring in any revenue on X. I got a couple clients out of X initially for my agency through talking on Spaces, but as far as the community goes, of the running community, it took me about, 8, 10 months before I made my first dollar. And I did an offer in Christelle's space, and Dan Ryan was the first one to sign up. So, but it took 8 months, So, you know, and even somebody posted like, wow, you're only making $500 a month now, Justin, after like, a year and a half or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, that's fine. I'm going at my own pace here. I'm not rushing this. I don't want to rush the process of building something that's really great, right? I'd rather take my time, make sure people are getting massive value for their investment, they're getting return on their investment, they're getting massive value, and that they're getting the results and the transformation. And so that's why it's taking longer, and I'm okay with that, right? Because I have other revenue streams coming in from my high ticket agency clients, etc. So for you, uh, One Road, definitely continue what you're doing here, showing up to spaces, adding value, conversations, open doors, and as Dan Ryan would say, and get your offer out there because we can't all work for free. We can't work for free. We got to earn revenue, right? We don't make money, we earn money. And so just get your offers out there, test them out, build your newsletter, build that email list, get some ad revenue coming in, and yeah, just don't stop because this is I'm starting year 3. This is year 3 of my 5-year plan. Every day. Okay, we've been hosting spaces every day, Monday through Friday, for over a year. So yeah, this is a long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There's ways you can sprint and get some revenue quickly, but when you're building something great, it's going to take longer. So, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, any other final thoughts here before we go to Timo? Juanro, any final thoughts before we go to Timo?
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to ask, you mentioned that you normally have daily spaces. I used to have this kind of personal conflict, that comes in the form of when you do daily spaces, is it not gonna dilute your brand? Kind of like, you're always there, does it have to be like maybe the same title or something, or it just has to be about me, everything that is based off of my interest when we talk about this personal brand stuff?
Yeah, well, first off, it's not about us. It's about other people, first and foremost. So let me reframe that. Right? So this isn't about me. This is about we. I just happen to have some expertise that others find valuable, right? So make it about we. It's not about us individually. It's about we. So that's number one. Number two is, yeah, you can host spaces every single day if you want it. Some people host spaces for 24 hours like Famous. That's very challenging. I can't do that, but I can host spaces every single day. But the pro tip for you is you have an expertise around a particular topic. So start with hosting a space once a week and keep consistency. Consistency is the hardest thing that everyone can achieve. And I'll give you the framework. It's very simple. This is the 10 C's framework, and this is how I've been able to generate millions of dollars for companies by following these 10 C's. Okay? Number one, you have to care. Number two, you have to commit. Number three, you have to identify or build a community. Number four, you have to have context to that community. Number five, you have to have communications. Number six, you have to do content creation. There's two C's in one, content creation. The next one is consistency. The last one, second to last one is conversion. And then the last C is cash. So there's the 10 C's framework. You focus on those 10 C's for 90 days, I guarantee you'll bring in more revenue. And if you're not, maybe it's in month 4. But that's exactly how I've helped generate millions of dollars for companies by following those 10 C's. Care, commit, community, context, communications, content creation, consistency, conversion, which will lead to cash. That's it. That's the formula. So again, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we. It's about the conversation. It's about the value you provide in your expertise. And then you just don't stop. And you don't take your foot off the gas, as Andy says. So I know we're winding down here, so I want to get over to Timo, but great question. Wanro, thanks for showing up. Let's go over to Timo, and then we'll do final word here with Yvonne and Andy. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, masterclass in a flash. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey everyone, and yeah, Yvonne Rowe, don't worry about diluting yourself, because like every space Justin and Andy holds, and sometimes whomever is the second co-host, there are a whole bunch of regulars, probably between 10 to 12 regulars who are just every day. You can spot them here, but there's a whole bunch of new people every space. So you never know when sometimes that's gonna be someone special who just throws an offer at you after listening to yourself. So don't worry about that. Same with the content. Doesn't matter even if you like every other day post the same post, because probably most of your followers didn't see it anyways. But to go to the topic, great space as always for Yvonne. I'm not sure how well do you know AOP Creation 24/7. What he has built among that kind of like a coaching niche. I've been kind of like trying to look into what he's doing, and have joined his community a couple of times for the free trials, just to extract stuff out from there, because it's basically brilliant. Superbly not my kind of a niche, like the strong patriarchal men type of community, but they're doing good stuff, and they're teaching people to write, and that's like the entire thing, like how to do content creation and make money out of it. So a couple of years ago, he does these like kind of like workshop type of weekends, and it was like $100 to $200 to get into those. And I think each of those workshops he has, the top students are most likely going to be coaching on the second and the next ones. And his latest version of that workshop cost like, was it $999? And he had like, what's that called? Cole Nicole, something like that. And a whole bunch of like famous writers doing like a 1-hour presentation on that workshop. So he's been like pumping that up, and there's like a couple hundred people joining at least every time. So as the price go up, I think you could what you could work with is something like if you're oversubscribed. It's a great book, by the way. I just read it or listened to it. If you're oversubscribed, like Andy mentioned, and someone else probably will, you could just have like use that first version, do some kind of a recording of all the content, and create like an entry level thing, and then raise prices for the next workshop or coaching group, and add in again, kind of like you could use what AOP has been doing is just like give the opportunity to the top students and let them have a part of the revenue, and that will take some work out of your shoulders when they're helping to just like manage the workshops and whatnot. So there's that. You can, and then just like hike up the price every time and just like have like a hype list for the next 30 people are going to get in with this price. And if you still want, there's extra spots for the next 20 and with the double price. So people will like hurry up, because that when you create that kind of a time schedule or something to get in, it's going to get people sign up easier and faster. But yeah, those are just a couple of ideas. As for my my offers, I'm kind of building into them this year. Kind of have this feeling what Jodel was talking last space. Kind of a writer's block. I haven't been posting for 2 days now. It's a good 2-day hiatus. I cleaned up my timeline a lot, and I'm just looking to kind of get the grok algo, forget about who I am, and then rise up like a phoenix. I've been just having some fun on other platforms, on Instagram, and Pinterest is booming every day. The impressions are going higher and higher, and so I'm looking to build that up to hopefully like 10K impressions, and then hopefully the conversions to finally start kicking in. I'm getting more in saves and more in outbound clicks, so that is always good. There's X kind of feels weird at the moment for me, but I'll return back stronger and with more tactics. But at the moment, I'm just letting the algo cool on my timeline.
Yeah, thanks, Timo. Yeah, analytics are up on my Pinterest as well for January. Haven't been posting as much, but the Instagram uh stuff is going automatically to Pinterest, so that's helping get more impressions. But don't forget, Timo, we're in the Revenue Ronin community, right? So I know, I always like to remind people that impressions are great. They can lead to revenue. But, just focus on reverse engineering, revenue streams and building those and accelerating those. So, and even maybe even test with some paid ads with Pinterest. If you're already getting some good engagement and some good impressions, maybe do $5, $10 a day on Pinterest to see if you can convert some of those to your digital products as just a test, right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just have to do some conversions and from some of my stuff from Gumroad and put them up to Beehive, because why would I pay to Gumroad? And and by the way, Yvonne, AOP has done like $1 million from Gumroad selling that course, so he's not like a small player at all. But yeah, it's kind of I'm pivoting, kind of like relaunching stuff, and kind of what I did with the newsletter. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, and Timo does have a mid-ticket offer. If you guys need help with Beehive, shoot him a DM, okay? He helped me dial in my Beehive, and yeah, I'm super happy and grateful for that. And he's been super helpful with coordinating with my VA as well on things so I can stay in my lane. I just like doing the copy and hitting post and publish. That's what I like doing.
Yeah, I didn't get fired, even though it took some time to get those blog posts running again.
Yeah, he's still around. Yeah, Timo's still around, guys. I didn't fire Timo, don't worry. So he's a quality guy. So yeah, make sure you get on Timo's radar and also Christelle's radar. You know, these are good Beehive people. I consider Christelle like the newsletter queen, so all right, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Timo. We're gonna go to final word here over to Yvonne and then Andy, and then I'll sign us off. But it's been a really great space. I'm glad I recorded this on my Zoom, so I'll have the transcript. So look out for the post mastermind content. And yeah, over to you, Yvonne.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Great space as always. Absolutely loved everything that people were sharing. And one of the takeaways I'll say, even though there are a lot, but this resonated with me with the thing that I was thinking about today, is I love how Will said it's the brain. It's the brain trying to keep itself safe and doing the self-correction. And I just love the reframing that he did instead of identifying with the thing, because so many times we identify with some of the emotional states and things like that, the highs and lows and all that kind of stuff. And even though I coach that and I teach that, sometimes it doesn't mean I don't still need to be reminded and remember that it was a beautiful reminder to remember that it's not me, it's a mechanism of the brain. Because that helps you conquer it. It helps it keep it like objective, and then it doesn't attach itself to you, so to speak. So I absolutely love that. I don't have anything else to share. Hope everybody has a kick-ass day. And subscribe to Justin's newsletter, and anybody else that's up here that you resonate with. Make sure you follow him, turn notifications on, because he is always adding value, and I'm so grateful to him. Join the Revenue Ronin. I am super grateful to support him and be a part of that journey and officially be a Ronin. So let's go, y'all.
Let's go. Yeah, thank you so much, Yvonne. Like having your support means the world, and it's been great connecting on this platform and what we're all building together. And yeah, just I want to share real quickly just an example of how your question played out for me yesterday at my clients. So um, we were on a call together with a vendor, and then that turned into a partnership call. So, and then all of a sudden, it's like they wanted some things right away about the digital audits, and they could be a referral source for us. So literally, I went into Lovable, spun up a site, literally the same day. I sent them the email, I recorded the videos that they wanted, and I sent the email out yesterday. So we went from meeting to validate to scale the offer to send within one day, right? That's how quick I moved. Because when you recognize a huge resource or a huge opportunity, and we create possibilities. So again, it really went very quickly from a vendor call to all of a sudden a partner call that can give us a big referral source. Within a matter of like 5 hours, I had everything done. And when you really focus and you follow the revenue, right? You follow the revenue, you will move mountains to make it happen. Okay? You will not let anything get in your way. And you guys have to be the same way, right? Again, prioritize revenue, prioritize opportunities, prioritize prospects that have budget, prioritize, prioritize the revenue, right? Money follows speed, right? Money moves quick, and you gotta be the same way. So, yeah, so much love and lights over your way, Yvonne. Love what you're building, and thank you for your friendship and your support, and yeah, really really appreciate it. All right, Andy, over to you. Final word.
Forward, action. Take action. If you're afraid, take action. If you find yourself in the same position, fix your mind. If not, just take action. First, just do it, right? Nobody became a black belt without punching and kicking. Nobody won a gold medal without, practicing a million times or whatever the number is. You cannot do it by listening and thinking. Cybernetics only works to sell books. So Make sure that you take action and do things. That's my word for the day, action.
I love it. Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you, everyone who contributed, all our speakers and listeners down below. I see some familiar faces. Thank you guys so much for being here, and sharing some time with us. Hopefully, you got some good value here today. And don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow with wins for the week, in the Startup Circle community. And why do we end the week with wins for the week? Because the wins fuel us on this journey. Majority of it is losses and lessons learned. Okay, that's just the reality. So we're not here to sugarcoat it, but when you're around other builders, like in this community and in the Startup Circle community, it will fuel you, right? It will level up your game. You will have a higher standard that you hold yourself to account. And then ideally, you will bring in more revenue. Not ideally, you will bring in more revenue. You will bring in more revenue. It's a direct correlation. There's a direct correlation. And yeah, just stick with us, guys. We're building something great here together. And at the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves four simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, but most importantly, build that legacy. So stay hungry and stay humble. We'll see you at the top. If you want to keep growing, check out the Revenue Ronin community. We've had 40 people sign up, and you could be number 41. Prices have gone up since last year. It's called supply and demand of my time. So join us before prices go up again, and join us on the journey. Start building your legacy and make it a productive, but most importantly, profitable day. And we'll see you tomorrow for wins of the week in the Startup Circle, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. Just put it on your calendar now. And yeah, sending you guys a lot of love and light.
In a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Will you be next? Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com.
Don't get played. Go get paid. All right. Much love, guys. See you tomorrow.